The views expressed in this podcast are for entertainment purposes only. Although explicit language will be used, the opinions of the podcast are not meant to malign any ethnic group, party, institution, or individual. Thank you for watching and enjoy the show.
I don't know. The things I used to enjoy doing wasn't this difficult. It didn't take this much brain power. It didn't take this much. Like, when things were just easier, it seems like, when we were younger.
For sure. There was less accountability. Less responsibility.
Yeah, a whole lot of less responsibility.
Yeah.
I got a hat with our show logo on. Am I in the cam? You got me in the cam? Y'all can see the hat? It's hot as fuck. I'm about to take this hat. Whew, let the head breathe. Maybe that'll help a little bit too. Dom, if you don't mind me asking you this on wax, and again, nobody knows who Dom is yet.
Dom.
Mysterious.
And I don't know if I want anybody to know who Dom is.
I'm just the mysterious voice from behind the camera.
What was your first experience with the internet? Like, do you remember?
Now it's coming back. So we used to have this like family computer in my house. It wasn't really mine, but it was just like a family computer. Mm-hmm. And I think I would just go on it just to look up like NBA scores or whatever. And I was probably like in the 4th grade or something. Mm. So probably like, I don't know, 7, 8 maybe.
Okay.
So if Dom is 7 and 8, what are we talking? 2009?
Yeah.
2009, 2010?
Yep.
Whew, Lord.
Yep.
So life was difficult. It was extremely difficult in regards to stuff like that. Like, if you wanted to know who won the game, the hurdles that had to be jumped, the trials and tribulations that had to be gone through.
Man.
Like, I lived in an apartment building as a kid. Downstairs in the front door of the apartment building, there was a newspaper stand.
Right.
So I could grab 35 cents out the ashtray in the living room, shoot downstairs, grab the newspaper, and it took care of a bunch of things for me.
Right.
I got the TV guide. I got to know what movies was playing. Mm-hmm. I got all the NBA scores. I got to make sure I got it on Mondays after football, because then you could get all the football scores from yesterday and so on and so forth.
Right.
What channel the Monday night football game was coming on and all of that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. Whew. But it was man. So it's all. Here's what I'm trying to get to is that the trials and tribulations that we had to go through just to be able to do what people classify as normal everyday shit taught us so much.
It did.
Like, I remember going on road trips with my father, and he taught me how to use a map.
Right.
And an atlas.
Right.
I remember, we were having a conversation off wax. I'm gonna bring it on wax just for shits and giggles this time. Mm-hmm. My son is 14 years old. He has the worst phone etiquette ever, and he has no idea that this is a thing.
Exactly.
Until I told him, I'm like, the next time you hang up the phone and you do not say bye, I am cutting your phone off. You do not know how to use it properly.
Eesh. Top classic.
Bro, stop hanging up on me. And then I thought about it, like, he doesn't even know he's hanging up on me. When he wants to call a girl that he likes, he calls the girl. Physically the girl. Like, he just calls her phone.
Right.
He don't have to talk to nobody, uncle. Yeah. He ain't got to call nobody and talk to nobody's mama.
There's no hi, Mr. Jenkins.
Yeah. It's yo, what up? What up? Wow. Like, he's never had to do that. Ever. We cut the landline off in this house when he got old enough to be able to keep a cell phone with him.
So are you saying that social media and texting has completely removed the middleman?
Completely. But there's some skills that are involved. Listen, so we're recording this show now. When it gets released is when it gets released. 2 days ago, Instagram and Facebook shut down.
Right.
And all you folks that thought y'all had businesses,
people was going crazy. It was was chaos.
All y'all folks who thought you knew how to get in contact with somebody.
It was chaos.
Chaos ensued, my friend.
People were panicking.
And we just talking about on the normal conveniences of life. We're not even talking about like zombie apocalypse stuff. Like, you know, how many people know how to fish? Mm-hmm. How many people know how to physically go catch fish? And then once you catch the fish, how many of them folks know how to clean them and then be able to feed people with said fish?
There are people who think they want to go to Lake Erie and get a bucket of water, boil it and drink it.
Yeah.
And live.
This is the thing.
They're out there.
This is the thing. But it was the hard times. Bro, I learned how to type on a keyboard. On a typewriter. Literally. And if y'all know who y'all is, everybody who listens to this, because a lot of my classmates do. Miss Price class at W.H. Kirk Middle School in East Cleveland, Ohio. We learned how to type on a typewriter. It was the loudest class you ever had in your life. The loudest class. She would recite letters and you had to push them in unison. She wanted the noises to all be in unison to make sure there wasn't nobody reaching for the wrong key. You should have to be able to do it.
Right.
Oh my gosh. I didn't get an email address till my junior year.
Wow. I don't even remember. Wow.
I didn't get an email address till my junior year.
Dang, I don't even remember my first email address.
You talking about chat rooms, bro?
When I actually started to use it, because like I said, when I was in the 12th grade, like the last year or two of high school, that's when Facebook was becoming popular.
Yeah.
What's the other ones? What was it? Black Planet or?
Oh, Black Planet was a thing. That was a real thing. MySpace was a thing. When Facebook was first introduced, it was for college students only.
Okay.
You needed I think you used your school login or some sort of, you needed a school email to create a Facebook page.
Right.
Like I remember that. I remember college because I was a lifeguard in my very, very early working career.
Right.
And in the lifeguard world, you end up hiring a bunch of college kids to come back in the summers and then over the holidays to deal with the crowds. And everybody used to come back into town and be like, Facebook.
And if you're a lifeguard,
what in the hell is Facebook?
It shows me.
If you're a lifeguard, don't just thumb it up and we'll call it.
So you needed a school ID to sign up.
Yeah, I think you needed a school ID.
Now,
please verify in the comments, but I'm pretty sure that's true.
Now your dog can have a page.
Bruh, your cats can have Instagrams. Your cats can have Instagrams. It has come
so far in such a short period of time.
It has, but at what cost? Because like I said, if you take the GPS out and hand everybody who got a GPS on their phone an atlas, folks is lost.
Yeah.
Lose your phone right now. Who can you call? Because when I was a kid, you had to know everybody's number. You needed your mama's work number, because if something happened and she was at work, you had to figure that out. Anywhere you called, you had to do. The phone book don't even come to my house no more. It used to come to my house.
Right.
That ain't even a thing.
That was a thing. In a plastic bag.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And back then, you could find somebody who was delivering phone books and get a job with them and make all kinds of money.
Man, it's a collectible now.
Jesus.
The Yellow Pages
is a collector's item?
Collector's item now.
Folks wouldn't even know how to navigate through a... But like I said, the phone book, folks, I mean, you could probably figure out the phone book, but there's a whole... like them encyclopedia searches, I mean, that's what Google was. Like my mama had went on one of them, get a bunch of stuff, pay for it later kind of deals. All of that shit existed with everything though. Columbia House our movie collection is nuts. Absolutely insane.
There's such a convenience now that I don't think people really recognize and or appreciate. Like I can go on Google Maps and it'll tell me what route has the least traffic.
Bruh.
Where the accidents are.
If you write a research paper now, you don't even know what we went through to get information that the teacher told us we had to provide.
Man.
when they used to listen, now you just share the links at the bottom of your stuff so that they can click on them and find out where you get your information.
Was plagiarism like a thing? Like, could you plagiarize still back
You
then?
could, but you had to be extremely way more strategic.
Yeah.
Or dumb, because now you could just copy and paste something, but back then.
Well, copy and paste was a thing while I was in high school. Like, you still had to type your reports out and shit of that nature. But what I'm saying is what you didn't have access to was every book ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you plagiarized the book, you had a much better chance of getting away with it back then because realistically, it had your teacher had to have read that book. Because now you could take a sentence from a book, Google it, and it'll tell you where to find that book at.
Exactly.
That was not the case.
Exactly.
That was not the case at all.
Right.
So if you had enough intelligence and enough resources to be able to go to different libraries and things of that nature, like if you could get to the library downtown, you could plagiarize a paper.
Yeah.
And get away with
it.
Because you had enough resources to be able to be like, yo, there's no way they're going to know where I got this from.
For sure. Or go to the nearest Barnes and Nobles or what was the other?
Wasn't Barnes and Noble? Borders.
Borders. Yeah.
Borders.
Yeah.
I always thought Borders was a really cool place.
It was.
I still take my kids to the bookstore.
That's cool.
Man, listen. My mother instilled that in me, and we do it the same.
That's cool.
Like, here's a Barnes and Noble gift card. Go in here and have at it.
Right.
And come out with the book. It needs to have words, because my son, being a kid, he'll come back with Dragon Ball Z drawing papers, and I support that stuff. But this is not that trip. This trip, you need to come back with some sort of literature that you can actually consume and read.
Right.
And things of that nature. My mother did that, and she made sure we did. So I make sure my kids do too.
That's cool, man. I think that there's another component to the speedy advancement of technology, text messaging. There's a whole lot of gray area in the communication styles now. Like, you can get so much from just an emoji and totally misinterpret what somebody is saying to you just from an emoji.
I've sat on my phone and sent a message and pissed people off.
Man.
Literally sat on my phone, bro. And had to apologize for the text message that my ass cheek sent. Because literally they had no idea as to what was happening on my end.
Right.
When you having a conversation, God forbid you actually have eye contact, there's some things. But again, the generation now, like you probably struggle with this from time to time. Mannerisms. I tell my son all the time, like, you need to be able to read the room.
Yeah.
You need to be able to look up and look at the people around you and see if they're comfortable. See if they're not comfortable.
But see, now you can
see what's going on.
Now you can text somebody in the same room. It's like I feel like the personal skills and etiquette of communication is almost to the point of atrophy. Like, the fact that somebody is the fact that reading a room is now, it used to be a common thing, but now
it's not.
You know what I mean? Like, now it's almost like cursive.
Listen. Neither one of my kids were taught cursive, and I write solely in cursive.
Yeah.
And on a regular basis, they come like, wait, what is? It's like a foreign damn language. By the way, speaking of cursive, and not to go too far off track, because I want to bring this back completely. Right. Did you learn Danilian?
No.
You ever heard of Danilian?
No.
All right, listen. If you took an English class or a writing class in the early mid-90s and you learned Danilian, please, I'm asking you, email the show and let me know where you was at when you took Danilian, because I did. Now I was in Catholic schools at the time. St. Aloysius, 190 St. Clair, is how we get down. Cleveland all the way. But it's basically a form of print with extra curly cues and shit of that nature on it to transition you into cursive. Mm-hmm. I took this in second grade.
Okay.
So when I learned cursive, it was extremely easy, and when I adapted to it, I never went back.
That's cool.
Like, I have to physically think about printing.
That's cool. I wasn't gonna say nothing. I didn't know what Danilian.
Yes.
I was gonna say I drove a Denali to prom, Jesus, but I don't know.
Anyway,
I wasn't sure where we were going.
To bring it back, you were saying that yes, cursive is also a thing of the past because who needs it?
Yeah. But even with if I could text people in the room, it's like it's how do you even it's reading a room, a lost art, and how do you get back to it? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like there has to be some type of.
I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can. I think this wormhole that we're going down right now is really far.
Shoot.
It's really far in.
Is it reversible?
I don't like texting in group chats because, like, if you're talking to a group of people like in real life, they have to respond, like they have to say something or show some emotion. But like if you're in a group chat, people could just like half of the people could just read it and not say anything or reply, and then you're thinking like what are they thinking about my text and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's just a whole nother game. I just
a lot of gray area.
Mm-hmm.
Now on the flip side of this coin, which is the part that I like about this whole deal, is there is a certain level of knowing that I'm truly not really lost. I'm not where I need to be in roads of like GPS terms, not lost as in life and things of that nature. But no matter where I'm at, if I have my car and I have a signal, I can figure the shit out.
For sure.
I know about some music that I wouldn't have known about if it wasn't for the same technology that we're talking about. It makes a whole bunch of things that are convenient, and I mean, shit, they're convenient. But like I said, I wish that there were some things that didn't come at the cost of the convenience. Like it would be nice to if my son knew how to talk on the phone. By the way, if you want a job in inside sales and you have phone etiquette and you know things like soft skills,
right,
you can work anywhere right now.
Real talk.
Anywhere.
Remote.
And they'll pay you to do it from the comfort and convenience of your own home.
Right.
They will. And like I said, those kind of jobs are becoming scarce, and they're always available because the working force, right, they never had to.
Right.
They didn't. They didn't. Like, we learned soft skills at a very early age because let you answer the phone crazy.
Right.
Whoever was on that phone was going to tell your mama that you answered the phone like you ain't had no kind of home training.
And you're so right, man. I think that's how I would describe reading the room, is using those soft skills.
Yeah.
And I don't know that soft skills are really appreciated as much as they should be. Like, I think that, as I was saying off wax, I think that right now, with the advancement of technology and everybody kind of going the route of text messaging and emailing, especially about important matters such as anything dealing with conflict, controversy, or any type of confusion, I think that a lot of meaning gets lost in the translation. Because how do I truly interpret an emoji? How do I truly interpret what you mean if I get left on red, or you know what I'm saying? Like there's so much gray area, and I think it's destroying personal relationships.
I've seen personal relationships get destroyed, but I don't necessarily think that overall it's I guess so, because
I wouldn't say it's the only thing.
The lack of communication, the lack of, like, have you ever answered a phone that wasn't yours?
You mean like a cell phone or like just in general?
I have.
Any phone. Like, okay, if you go back and watch the Cosby's, which I don't even know if you can anymore right now, can you? Regardless of that, when they answered the phone on the Cosby Show, they used to say Huxtable residence, because that phone wasn't Cleo's.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the house phone. He represented the family when he answered that phone.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I do that for my job, but not for anything else.
Okay, so yes, you have. Okay, so that was my thing.
Where are the house phones?
Yeah, they don't exist anymore. And that's,
you see what I'm saying?
But listen,
like,
that ain't necessarily people's fault. That was a business decision, because it was like, why am I so paying for this? When we had a house phone, I had a house phone for many years living in this house, and I promise you, what happened is we would have the house phone. We would get a house phone number whenever we signed up for something, and just in case shit got real back in the day, and we didn't exactly, we was like, all right, this one getting. They gonna get their money next month, like that type of shit. We would get on the house phone number. It wasn't even a phone plugged up, bro.
But
when
see,
you called it, it just rang. No
was,
voicemail picked up, no nothing.
There was a certain amount of etiquette that you use on a house phone because there was a small chance that somebody else might pick up the phone.
Yeah.
In the house. And all your business
is on the street.
Out in the street.
Or at least not even out in the street, but your mama knew.
Somebody.
Yeah, somebody in the house would know.
Right? And all they had to do was mute or whatever.
Situation.
But that level of awareness, that level of...
It was awareness, and in my opinion, it was respect.
Respect.
It was respect. I think that's one of the biggest things that we've lost in the information technology age. It's extremely with social media. It's like, you'll type some shit that you would never say to a person.
Come on, man. I've done it, bro.
That you would never say to a person.
It's almost like the text becomes your avatar.
Yeah.
The things that you don't have the courage to say vocally, you just like, well, F you.
Yeah.
And you like,
man, if I was standing in front of you, would you have said that?
Wouldn't even said that though.
You would have mumbled some shit under your breath and you kept moving. Yeah. So listen, I don't know. The way this whole thing happened, to bring it full circle, is we was having a conversation off wax about just how things used to be.
Yeah,
And
man.
where we're at now and in the direction that shit went into. And although I do appreciate the conveniences, I feel like we paid a hefty price for them.
Sure did.
We paid a hefty
major cost.
Like this show, for instance, would not exist without those conveniences.
At all.
We sitting here right now because of the progress that technology has made, but again, my son has no idea how to read a room. He doesn't know how to talk on the phone, and I don't even know if those are skills that he's ever gonna need.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna teach him, because I'll be damned.
Of course.
But I'm not sure if this could be like, multiplying and dividing polynomials at some point. Man. He could never actually use this shit, but he had to take a test on it.
Ancient art form.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Jesus.
These are legitimate concerns, people.
Dude, I was in 10th grade when you were born. I guess that'll happen if you talk to enough people. What we at on time now?
25.
It's good stuff.
I agree.
It's that sauce right here.
I agree. It's always interesting to me as to, based on the conversations we have in the show workup, and then what actually happens on wax is always an interesting. It's like playing dominoes. Yeah. Everybody puts one down. Yeah. And eventually you end up with a different shape every time.
For sure.
Even if you're playing with the exact same people, the table always looks different when you're playing dominoes. I feel like that's what the show does.
That's what's intriguing about it. Man.
Yeah, because you really have no idea what shape it's gonna make.
Just let it flow.
You don't. So yeah, we're gonna use all of these conveniences and all this technology. We're gonna try not to get canceled.
Man.
Although we're on the fence about that, we feel like if we get big enough to get canceled, then we did our fucking job.
You blink wrong.
Not even if you blink wrong. You can blink all you want. If somebody with no eyelids,
man,
shoots a tweet,
if somebody,
then you fucked.
And if you don't have eyelids,
email the show at buildingwhyyouflying@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, and share. What's our Instagram handle? BWYF podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Somebody with no eyelids is calling the NAACP right now. We out of here. We done. We're finished. We just shut ourselves off.
Or we talked about texting somebody with no thumbs or fingers.
Yeah, right.
It's
had zero intentions on offending anybody, but here we are.
We're not talking about anybody specifically. As you will hear in the disclaimer, we're not. This is just a discussion amongst.
It is.
Fellas who
wanted to have a discussion.
Just want to have a discussion.
We wanted to excite thought processes.
We're not coming after nobody. This is
excite conversation.
Yeah. We just starting a discussion. This is not the end all. That's it.
So don't cancel us.
Sheesh.
But I mean it. If you don't have eyelids, email the show. I want pictures.
Nope.
Okay.
That out.
Just no. You leave that in.
Edit that out.
Listen,
that's canceled.
Leave it in.
That's what that is. But you just
you have the driest eyeballs you ever.
You want pictures of dry eyeballs, man?
Who was the old guy with the monotone voice?
Down job. Where are we going?
Wasn't it? Who was the old guy with the monotone voice?
Don't you send a picture of your dry eyeballs.
For dry eyes.
Don't do it.
Use clear eyes.
Don't
I forgot his name. I can't remember. Remember the Visine commercial?
Don't do it.
Those clear eyes. Those little drops.
Don't do it.
They probably the spokesperson for it. At this point, they ain't got no eyelids.
If you don't have eyelids, don't mention it.
Look at that. We got some stuff happening behind the scenes, y'all.
Ben Stein.
Ben Stein.
Man, I'm a genius.
What's the man's name? He was a spokesperson for Clear Eye. He had a beach ball with sand on it, and it looked like an eyeball.
Nope.
And then it hit the shower cord, and it rinsed the
I'm not
sand
going
off.
with you. I'm not going with you. I won't do it.
This show was for entertainment purposes only. Period. I mean, that is what it is.
But if you don't have eyelids, we want to hear from you. We do.
I do. I want to see. Just, how you sleep? Probably rough. Unless you got one of them satin things right there, like the rich people be wearing, like you got to sleep in complete darkness. So you got one of them. You probably got like little rubber stops on it, like a gas cap. You ever had the gas caps that don't got the caps on them? Where you just flip the lid closed? It's probably like that, like little suction cups.
Now, John, what is he
pull
doing?
the thing back.
What is he doing?
I'm just. Alright, fine. I quit. Got a car that got that. It don't have a thing you got to twist. You just flip the lid closed and it suctions onto it, keep it sealed. So if gas don't dry out, I guess, I don't know. I'm just. If you don't have eyelids, you would.
You going for the cancer?
I'm not.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
I
thought we discussed this, but it's fine. Go ahead. Go for the cancer. Keep going. Interesting. My. I see what you're doing.
I got a question though. Like, do you have eyelashes?
Yeah.
What them attached to?
I'm not saying it.
Jesus. I bet you look like a Ford Focus. You know them girls with them fake
gosh.
eyelashes on the front of their car, just flapping in the wind. Oh, that's terrible. Listen, if you don't have eyelids, email the show at BWYF@gmail.com, and we're gonna pray for you.
I thought Nate was the one who was gonna get canceled
This
first.
smile has nothing to do with eyelids missing.
What you smiling at, dude?
This purely has to do with the thoughts that are in my head, which have nothing to do with eyelids missing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, since this is probably gonna be our last show, I guess we'll just end it on this note then, and we'll leave it there.
This is beyond me.
Is Ben Stein still alive?
I'm not. No.
He is. Ben Stein.
Somebody
Ben Stein. We're good. We're good. We out here. All right. Well, listen. BWYF@gmail.com. Even if you have eyelids, still email the show. BWYF podcast on IG. Like, subscribe, and share. It took a while to get here, but I'm glad we made it, y'all.
Yes.
Show's real good.
Indeed. Yes, indeed.
Consistency is the key. We have to stay consistent.
It is.
With all of that being said, appreciate y'all being here. We'll holler.
Consistent like a blade. All right.